Land is the basis of all independence.
All right, so we're here back in the garden, and I just want to say a few things here. I was just in Costa Rica recently, and I was a little inspired, I must say, by all the natural foods I saw growing everywhere in Puerto Viejo and Manzanillo and Cahuita, which is on the Limon Caribbean side of Costa Rica. Because, you know, one of the interesting things that I've always seen is that growing up in a developed country like the United States, I've always noticed that there was always a separation between the areas in which you live and the areas in which food are grown. Like, you virtually don't see food, animals, anything like that that you actually consume on a daily basis. So when we eat our food, we have this tendency to think that it is magically appearing in its form, not knowing or understanding where it's actually coming from. But when I go to a lot of these so-called underdeveloped countries, non-developed countries, third world countries, the global south, or whatever it is, you oftentimes see food grown where the people actually live. There's not a separation between the reality of everyday life and the production of the food. And I always thought that was pretty interesting, because what it ends up showing you is that there's actually more in a country that prides itself in independence. There's actually way more of a dependency on a system, an economic system, in order to just, you know, sustain yourself in, you know, the vital things of life, which is food, water. And these are the things that people know how to get in a lot of the so-called underdeveloped countries that we don't know how to get here in America. I mean, some of us do, yes. But the vast majority of us are living very comfortably far, far away from the areas in which our food is being produced. And we are actually we're scared to eat food that is actually produced in front of our faces, which I think is pretty sad. And so, you know, while I was in Costa Rica, I decided to film some of these areas in which you could just see food growing everywhere. We have a nice little house on the beach here. Looks nice. Nice fruit trees and everything. That's what I love about this place, is when I come to like these equatorial regions of the world, I feel like food is everywhere. It's grown everywhere. And people don't just limit food to certain sections of their society, like agricultural zones and all that stuff. Like, you literally see people growing food everywhere. And I think that's really important about these types of places. You got the papaya tree. I'm growing one of those, and I'm growing a few of those in my backyard. Hopefully they get that tall. This is where we're staying. Nice, beautiful, pristine place. As you can see, fruit trees everywhere. The importance of growing your own food. If there was ever any type of economic depression here in Puerto Viejo, Pura Vida, they would all have everything necessary to survive, because they seem to grow their own food everywhere. Banana trees, star fruit, papaya, mangoes, coconut trees, and all these other fruits that I have no idea what they are. It's a lot of that. All right. So this is where we're staying. And if you look over here, off this balcony, you can see some more stuff, some more locals, some more fruit trees. Pura vida. Costa Rica. Yes, sir. look like a brownie. And I think that that's one of the things that I also think is pretty interesting, because when we have a tendency to rate countries or judge countries based on a country's GDP, gross domestic product, and countries with high GDPs are superior to countries with low GDPs. But a lot of these countries with high GDPs are the countries that I'm talking about, the compartmentalized countries where people live separately from the food that's being grown. But a lot of the countries that have low GDPs are also the same countries where you'll see a rooster cock-a-doodle-doodling in the morning. You'll see hens pecking around the house. You'll see fruit trees, papaya trees, mango trees, coconut trees, and all these kinds of trees everywhere. And it made me realize, if anything were to ever truly happen in society to where the economic system failed, right? I mean, the flow of goods and services that we're all so accustomed to. If these types of things failed, who would actually be able to sustain themselves better? Would it be the people with the low GDPs, or would it be the countries with the higher GDPs? So sometimes you have to be careful about how you measure a country's success or how you measure a people's success. All right, and that's why it inspired me to just keep on planting. And that's one of the things that I did when I got back home. Is I said, I'm gonna make sure I start pulling weeds again, start planting, and really take this whole planting thing seriously. And even before I left, I had an old papaya tree right here that produced some papaya fruits. And I took the seeds out, replanted them, and they've recently been growing back. And I decided to take good care of them. I've done this before, but never actually took good care of them. The little papaya trees died. But now this time I'm actually taking pretty good care of them. And now I got me some new papaya trees growing here. And I got a bunch of little ones growing over here. And this is something that I saw happening in Costa Rica, in Limon. Just fruit trees growing everywhere. And people just picking and eating off these trees. So that's why I say, the revolution will not be pesticides. And that land is the basis of all independence. And if more of us can think like this, especially in the times we're coming into right now, with all this, I feel like there's a lot of control being implemented. I think if more of us can start thinking like this and producing food for ourselves and just being healthy in this way, I think we would have less of a dependency on the system. So anybody who's saying you can't go here or you can't go there because you don't have this medical card or that medical card, I think that we'd be more prepared. Instead of being reactionary, a lot more people would be proactive and ready and prepared to deal with whatever is to come. All right? That's it, guys. Remember, the revolution will not be pesticides. Peace!
Land is the basis of all independence.